break down these trades and who I think won. First of all, didn't like the Sixers trade deadline. They lost Jared McCain, traded Eric Gordon, re-signed Dominic Barlow. Um, well, we can basically like watch the Daryl Morey. In fact, let's break down the trade. But I know that later in the show we're gonna watch the Daryl Morey what's it called, the press conference on why the Sixers did what they did. But it was a lot of like confusion with that. Let's break down these trades and who. Um, all right, but yeah, I'm never gonna look at the bringer because this ain't really valid information. They talking about Joel Embiid's opinion. What Joel Embiid did say that the Sixers are kind of like a team that keep on ducking attacks, and that's really what they did. This trade deadline. Mhm. That ain't coming in. Keep looking. Giannis didn't get traded this trade deadline. Milwaukee, I think maybe they're gonna trade him in the. Shout out to Ashley Scott in the building. Double tap the screen, show love. I think Giannis will get traded. Oh, I'm not. Am I not looking at the camera? Oh, I must be cockeyed. Double tap the screen. 20 people in the building. I'm guessing like Giannis is probably gonna get traded at the trade at before the draft because maybe they can get more something closer to. But then again, Giannis is shout out to Hero TV in the building. Let me check these NBA standings real fast before I even go into it because I believe the the Milwaukee Bucks are still in the run for the playoffs. So shout out to Hero TV in the building. Double tap the screen. Yeah, the Milwaukee Bucks they the 12th seed, but they only 2 games back of the 10th seed, so they could kind of get. Shout out to Walla in the building. They could kind of still get in the play-in. So if Giannis comes back, they could still get in. Um, Toronto's holding on to that 5th seed. The Sixers are in the 6th seed right now, and yeah, Memphis just outside of the playoff. Really, the West looked like it's pretty certain on the playoffs because you see the Mavericks is kind of tanking. Not really. You could tell me about it though. The Mavericks is kind of like they traded Anthony Davis to the Wizards, and the Wizards are doing is crazy because right now the Wizards are traded for Trey Young, traded for Anthony Davis, and still get a chance to sit them out for the rest of the year. Which the Wizards are what 1, 2. They're like it's probably like 5 of the worst records in the league, and the Wizards are right there, like 1 game behind the worst record in the league, which is 2 games behind the Sacramento Kings for the worst record in the league. So you trying to tell me that the Wizards could go for the first number one pick and have Anthony Davis and shout out to Azurel in the building. Appreciate you. Um, you trying to tell me that the Wizards could tank for the first pick in a draft and still they already traded all their players. They traded Chris Middleton, C.J. McCollum, so they're really gonna lose games. They already got Alex Sarr, which was the first pick in last year's draft, not the year that passed, but the year before that draft, and they're gonna go for the first pick this year with Anthony Davis and Trey Young, sitting out the rest of the games. That's really like I thought they couldn't do that, but let's see how it goes because that kind of makes no sense that they can sit here and kind of basically not tank having players on the team that's not gonna play. But double tap the screen, show love. James Harden moved to Cleveland, which Cleveland is basically the what? When I just checked, they was the Cleveland is the fourth seed right now, but they about 3 games behind the Celtics for the number 2 seed. So really, the number 2 seed and the number 6 seed is separated by 3.5 games. So anybody could get on like a little 5 game, 6 game winning streak and really capture this 2 seed. And if Pistons kind of struggle, they could. That's what I say. You believe that that's like that makes any sense that they can. Shout out to Azurel in the building. You think that they should be able to pick to get that first pick when they got Trey Young and they basically traded out their whole team? Like how is that like even like consider like a legal way to play? They're gonna try to not win games. Even though I ain't gonna lie, that's what the Sixers did last year to get that third pick. But I don't understand it for real. How they're able to do that right now. It's not even an all-star break and they're already gonna be tanking. So right now, let me just go to the ringer because that's what I could find right now. They got the winners and the winners being the NBA owners, the losers being NBA fans. So they kind of like talking about the tax and all that. Let's see right here. Yeah, I can't look at this like and take it too serious. Double tap the screen, show love. I gotta look at more the actual moves and just go by what I feel because they dragged it out right in these. Jose Alvarado went to the Knicks too, which is I feel like that'll be a pretty good fit. Now that you can see that Miles McBride is actually not gonna play. He got injured, so I guess he's like a replacement for Miles McBride. All right, Bleacher Report. Let's look at that. That's what I'm saying. They just gonna go from worst to first in 1 year because the way that their strategy is, which kind of sucks for the fans this year. But I guess they gotta look at it for next year. Like they kind of gotta look at it like, especially you talking about Anthony Davis talking about he want to compete for a championship. He gonna come play as hard as he can next year. But then again, Anthony Davis haven't played more than 30 games in a couple years. That's the only crazy part. But they're just automatically gonna tank this year. What you think? What do y'all think about James Harden going to the Cleveland Cavaliers? Do you think that? I don't think that's gonna be too much. Like it's always to me. I don't think James Harden is gonna fit with Donovan Mitchell because he's gonna pound. He's gonna he dribbles out shot clocks a lot. He's gonna make their big man better. Like he's gonna get good passes in, but he's gonna take a lot of usage away from Donovan Mitchell, which I don't know if that's gonna be the perfect thing. Like the only way to really play the guard position with James Harden next to James Harden is really like kind of like running a fast break and things like that. That's the kind of things he likes to do with his guards. Because as soon as he got traded from the Sixers. Um, he kind of Maxi kind of elevated his game because he got to have the ball more. But another person, John Moran didn't get traded neither. So that's really like we getting a sneak preview of this draft, which is supposed to be one of the strongest drafts like in a while, supposedly. They say that kind of every year, but then sometimes when we got weak drafts, they definitely say that we got weak drafts. But kind of the strong drafts, they say all the time they're the strongest drafts. So it's going to be a lot of trades and a lot of players like on the trade market. We already know that Memphis ain't really vying for a playoff spot neither. They probably going to sit out. I don't know what Milwaukee's trying to do, even though they're only 3 games out of the play-in tournament. Is they trying to go for a play-in tournament or is they trying to get a draft pick? That's kind of questions that we should have going into the off season. But for the rest of the season, it was a lot of dang it, man. I gotta find what they have as far as like the actual moves. I'm not trying to see all these essays that they writing. That's what I'm saying. It's a race to be. But you think that Milwaukee's trying to get that race to the bottom four? I guess like I know that they got the two guys coming out, the one from Baylor and the one from Kentucky. That's supposed to be the next Kobe, but I've heard about a lot of like I guess maybe that's why the Sixers got grabbed that Houston pick because it's supposed to be a deep draft, like the 26th pick or 25th pick is even supposed to be a pretty good pick. Everybody wants to get first round picks this year. All right, so Celtics got Nikola Vucevic. They trying to I guess they didn't know that they were gonna be this high since they're a second seed. They not trying to get beat. They trying to have a big man basically. They lost Al Horford even though Al Horford was getting old. They kind of with this move they're kind of getting kind of young. I mean Vucevic is about 30, so he has a couple years. Wow, if they land 5 to 10, Clippers get that pick. Clippers own the Pacers first round pick. Top five protector first round pick. That's crazy. Oh yeah, because Zubac got traded to the Pacers. Wow. Damn. So the Clippers could get a good pick this year. I'm looking at that trade right now. You right about that. They traded Zubac and Kobe Bryant for Benedict Mathurin, Isaiah Jackson, the 2026 pick, protect their numbers 1 through 4, numbers and number 10 through 30, the 2029 pick, and the 2028 Maverick second round pick. So if they get it from 5 to 10, wow. Pacers made that move. Well, Zubac is a pretty good player, so they had to do something. He's like one of the top tier center in the league. Mm, Sadly, Tech Savers, Hunter Tyson. Okay, I already talked about Suns acquired Cole Anthony in 3-team deal. That's going to be kind of a helper for the Suns too, because Cole Anthony is underrated. Cole Anthony is really underrated in the NBA. Like in Milwaukee, he was playing okay. And he should give the Suns some guard depth. Jazz got Chris Boucher, which she should probably be a buyout player, honestly. Lakers grad Luke Kennard. That's pretty good for Gabe Vincent. Gabe Vincent wasn't really playing too well this year. Luke Kennard is a good shooter, 40% shooter always. Oh, what just happened? Mm, Timberwolves got Ayo Dosunmu for Rob Dillingham, Leonard Miller. Well, really Rob Dillingham and a bunch of picks, bunch of second round picks. Double tap the screen, show love. Ayo Dosunmu is a pretty solid player. Bulls. Wow, the Knicks traded Gerson Yabusele. Ain't that crazy to the Bulls? Bulls will probably buy him out. Another trade that was pretty good was well, it was pretty confusing. Was the Warriors getting Kristaps Porzingis for Jonathan Kuminga and Buddy Hield? Kristaps haven't played all year, has he? I'm not really sure why people keep finding value. He's a 7-footer that can shoot the ball, but he has a lot of injury history. Jazz got Lonzo Ball. They're gonna waive him probably. Chris Paul, Raptors got Chris Paul. They probably gonna waive him. The Hornets got Kobe White, but the Hornets are on a low streak though. Yes, Celtics. They are kind of an underdog, but the only thing is that how 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 good do you see Tatum coming back from that injury? Because you know it's going to take a while for him to get back in the game shape and stuff like that. That's the only problem. That's the only problem with that. I just seen some ACL injuries. Players be taking. I know he got an Achilles injury. Is there like a timetable for how fast he will become like a like back to his normal self? Because without Tatum, I don't know if they're gonna be able to get past certain teams in the playoffs. But then again, they their coach got to give him way more recognition because the way he's been coaching this year, he might win Coach of the Year. But that's kind of the only thing I was wondering. Like, do you feel like Tatum is going? Like, I know, like usually when players come back from them type of injuries, they'll be like kind of scared of, like I guess with his type of injury would be like scared to like kind of do the little jab step and the quick twitches. So he'll be like more of a standstill shooter when he come back until he get his confidence back on his Achilles. That's why I think usually they wait a whole year to come back because they're not gonna be the same player. But Jason Tatum is probably very eager to come back and help the team. Kobe White go to the Hornets, and the Hornets are kind of an underdog to make the play-in tournament because they've been playing very well, even though they got a lot of rookies on their team. That's gonna kind of like elevate Concanipples like kind of like his rookie, maybe like rookie of the year kind of chances because even though I love VJ Edgecombe, Concanipple has been doing. He's a really. I thought he was undersized. He's not undersized, and he's like really playing well for the Hornets for them to be in this winning streak. So like he does all the small things from what I seen when we played them. He was rebounding, he was passing the ball, he shoots, set screens, he does everything. That's what kind of like probably why he was part of a lot of winning situations in Duke. I know Mavericks got Chris Middleton in that trade, and I feel like they might. I've heard of him as a buyout option. As a buyout option in the this year, which I think the Sixers should be interested in that, especially with the fact that Paul George got suspended for 25 games. They could use a small forward. Jaren Jackson Jr. going to the Jazz, which I guess Memphis just gonna tank to try to get a good pick this year. And the Cavs acquired Dennis Schroeder too. On top of acquiring uh on top of acquiring James Harden. Yeah, that's why I feel like Cons, because he's but then VJ's nice too. VJ's nice too. And he lead the league in fourth quarter clutch percentage. I just found that out the other day. They put that out. So that's basically all the trades. I just went through all the trades. Now let's look at these buyout options because that will be the next or potential buyout options because a lot of people ain't waived yet. But I'm gonna look at that because that's gonna be the next probably you know flurry of movement in the NBA now, and a lot of winning teams gonna go for players that that are gonna be buyout in the buyout market. Like I told you, the first person they got here is Chris Middleton because he's a great scorer and still got some even though he's injured a lot, a top candidate with scoring ability. I don't know if Chris Paul, even though they got him out here, I don't know if he's gonna be a player that's gonna get waived. I mean, even want to play again, but maybe he will for this little couple games left. Lonzo Ball is expected to get waived. Mike Conley already signing from Minnesota, so that's already out the question. DeMar DeRozan, supposedly he might be a buyout option, but Sacramento do got the worst record in the league. So it's possible if he wants to play, get to a winning team, and he got 1 year left on his contract. DeMar DeRozan could be a good pickup for somebody, but he might want to stay in LA. So he might go to not to the Clippers, but maybe the Lakers if he's gonna play for the minimum. Cam Thomas might get waived because he got traded, or he might have got waived already. And it say Andre Drummond here, but I'm not very sure if he's gonna get waived by the Sixers. Buyout involves reduction D's. Don't call. So they gotta make these buyout. This buyout situation is gonna happen. This gonna happen. It has to happen before March 1st for them to be eligible for the playoffs. So this is gonna happen in the next 2 weeks. So this is really something that we gotta be looking at. Um, let's see who else they got here. Um, Chris Boucher got traded to the Jazz, and he really didn't do nothing for the Celtics all year. So I don't know if anybody really want to pick him up, but he's a long, solid like backup center, power forward type of player that could really help a team. He a good 3-point shooter too. Who else we got? Yeah, basically everywhere is like um it should be happening in the next couple weeks. You think the Lakers got a pretty good record this year. The only thing they like maybe like the fourth seed, I believe. Let me see exactly where the Lakers are at. But they got a pretty good record this year because they still got Luka at the end of the day. He's not really like just LeBron. Even though, like I said the other day, when I was doing the Lakers game, LeBron kind of looks like he's like really falling down to earth with his game now. He don't look like the same player at all, which is kind of crazy to think. He's like losing his defensive ability, his fast breaking. Even though he has something here and there with nobody paying attention, but the LeBron I'm used to seeing, it's not the same. Mason Plumlee got waived. Marvin Bagley got waived. Haywood Highsmith is waived too. They think Eric Gordon might get waived. Klay Thompson might get waived, which would be a crazy pickup for a team. Klay Thompson might be the one to go back to Golden State too, or might go to LA. But he might go back to Golden State to finish his career. I don't think he's gonna come to the East. I think Luka got hurt the other day too, so he might be out for a couple games. I know the Lakers are the fifth seed. They 31-19, tied for the fourth seed with the Rockets, and they only a game back of the third seed. So they're having a okay season, even though the Suns are right behind them. Only a half a game, only a game behind the fourth seed, the seventh seed. So if you like go on a little bit of a losing streak, you could lose the seed out to the Suns. They're a little comfortable over the Warriors. The Warriors are 28-24. Then the Clippers are still the ninth seed, and the Clippers just won yesterday. Yeah, he might go back. There's a lot of reports that say he's gonna go back to the Cavs next year. But then they was also saying that Giannis was gonna go to the Cavs, and he didn't even go nowhere. With the Bucks being the 12th seed, and even though, like I said, they're only 2 games back of the Hornets actually took over the 10th seed, and the Hawks are in the ninth seed. But how they gonna stay there with the trades they've made? You got Jaylen Brown with shout out to Bonze Buckeye in the building. Yeah, they saying Jaylen Brown could be the MVP, but let's look him up because I heard something that said he might be the first MVP with a negative plus minus. He averaging 29 and a half, 48.5%, 36 from 7, wait, 5 rebounds and 1 assist a game. No, wait, it's 4 assists, 7 rebounds and 5 assists a game. I'm tripping, that's 1 steal a game. So, but he's only a plus 3, plus 2.9. Yeah, but Giannis said he's staying through for the season. If that's maybe for next year, they could get Giannis and get LeBron in the free agent market if LeBron's willing to take that pay cut and take the mid-level exception or something. But yeah, the only thing about Jaylen Brown being the MVP is that his plus minus is only 3, which would be kind of the lowest. Let me see what the MVP numbers are. Let's see where we go. Let's see. All right, that ain't gonna give it to me. Mm. See, they like plus 10s, 5.3. Wait. The lowest one was the Russell Westbrook year. See, yeah, usually these joints they usually got way higher plus minuses. Yeah, 2.9. Yeah, that's what I said, bro. It's a horrible plus minus to be an MVP. That's what I'm saying. Giannis wants to be the point guard, so I'm not sure if he's gonna fit with any team, honestly. Especially with somebody like James Harden that kind of wants the ball in his hand a lot. He has like one of the highest usage rates, and anytime he plays, like he needs to play with people that like to catch and shoot, or people that like to cut and stuff like that. So I don't even know how James Harden gonna work out with Donovan Mitchell. If they have a worse record after this and fall down in the standings, then that'll be crazy. Because a lot of people miscalculate when they acquire James Harden that he's gonna want to be that player that catches and like his percentages give off different vibes. Like you would think he was like a great catch and shoot 3-point shooter. Like you kind of gotta look more in depth into it because he's a guy that really likes to dribble before he shoots. He likes to like he likes to massage the ball. In other words, like he likes to pound the ball a lot before he even shoots the ball. Like even when he was playing with Embiid, that was a big thing. Like why he always had to take that one dribble and then shoot the three, or had to shoot a step back even when he was open. Like that MVP year for Embiid, he was open a lot of times and would dribble himself into being covered because he's not that quick. He lost. The only bad thing about it, he lost a lot of his quickness with his age. So he didn't lose his shot. I'm not gonna say he lost his shot. He didn't lose his smartness, but he lost a lot of his explosiveness. He's not gonna dunk the ball a lot, and he's not gonna get that first step that he used to have when he was MVP Harden back in 2015. That's what I get from seeing him for 3 seasons. And we've seen him for 3 seasons. We've seen him in Game 7 give us 9 points when we in the closeout game against Boston. We seen him, you know what I'm saying? And we always kind of like gave him the excuse of injuries and stuff like that, but it can't always be that every year. Yeah, but like I said, we broke down the buyout options in the trade so far. I could tell y'all key points is that from the second to the sixth seed in the East is separated by 3.5 games. So that's gonna be a tight race from Boston to Philly. Boston is 34 and 18. New York, the Knicks are right behind at 33 and 19, a game back. The Cavs are 2 games back of the Knicks at 31 and 21, 3 games back of the Celtics. And then you got the Raptors at 31 and 22, a half a game back of the Cavs, 3.5 games back of the Celtics. And then you got the Sixers at 29 and 22 at 4.5 games back of the Celtics, just at 1 game back of the Raptors for the fifth seed, and a game and a half back of the Cavs for the fourth seed. So any team right here, right now the Celtics is on a 5 game winning streak. The Sixers was just on a 5 game winning streak, but they lost a game against the Lakers. Any one of these teams right now, Boston's on that 5 game winning streak. It seems like that's what kind of you think so. Yeah, Clay will be good for any team. For real, for real. I ain't going fraud. If Clay get waived, his shooting will help any team. But the only thing is his defensive abilities ain't the same, and he kind of I don't know. But to me, I think he might kind of want to go back to Golden State if he gonna take that minimum money for the rest of the year. He might go back to Golden State because Golden State is in the what are they? The eighth seed right now. So if they get like a Klay Thompson back with Steph Curry, they could, and they kind of have that opening. Whereas though the Spurs, what do they really have an opening for a shooting guard? Because they kind of like got their young players already in a rotation. They the second best team in the West. So maybe he'll come back to Warriors to try to get them looks and try to help them get back. But like I said, since the Celtics kind of had that 5 game winning streak, it seems like they kind of separated themselves a little bit. But if any of these teams struggle or another team gets another 10 game winning streak or something, a 7 game winning streak, the Celtics got to stay on they P's and Q's. And so do the don't think that the Pistons aren't all the way ahead, and they kind of had like a surprise start. So if the Pistons could fall out of this first seed too, with all these games left, we still got about what we about 51 games into the season, so we still got a good 31 games left. So if the Pistons if the Pistons you know what I'm saying, if the Pistons kind of go on a little losing streak, they could lose that first seed. Thunders too, like the Spurs are right on the Thunder's heels. In the in the West to the 7th seed is kind of interchangeable too. It's separated by 2 games. So the Nuggets got the 3rd seed at 33-19. The Rockets are 4th seed, 31-19. Lakers tied at 31-19. I guess they won the head-to-head with the Lakers. The Timberwolves is right a half a game back at 32-21. And the Suns are the 7th seed at 31-21. So they real close too. They real close from the 3rd to the 7th seed could change. The other teams got a little bit of room to struggle. Then in the East, from the 7th seed to, which is all playing from the 7th to 11 and a half. 7th to the 12th is still kind of like up for hands. Even though Milwaukee's kind of falling back off of it, they won three straight games. So if they go on a little winning streak, Hornets is on an 8 game winning streak. That's why they kind of jumped up. Young players, championship experience. It's true. They need to bring a veteran in. But maybe that's where Chris Paul want to go for, because he just was playing with the Spurs. I don't know why he left. He tried to come back and get that last season with the Clippers, but it depends. The Spurs got a good chance to win too, to win a ring this year. From the 7th to the 12th seed in the East, though, could change, because you got the Magic at 26-24, the Heat at 27-26. They just a half game away from each other. Then you got the Hawks right behind at 26-27, and the Hornets on an 8 game winning streak, just 3 games back of the Magic for that 3rd seed, for that 7th seed. And then you got the Bulls at 24-28 too, tied with the Hornets. So it's still a lot of competition left. Now with the West, is only the 8th look like it's kind of locked up. With the Clippers for that 9th and the 10th seed, the Clippers and the Trailblazers is kind of the only 2 teams. The Clippers look like they want to tank, but then I think they 24-27, like, and then the next team that kind of could challenge us is Memphis, and Memphis is automatically tanking. So unless the Jazz want to make a run at it at 16-36, if the Clippers start losing, but I don't even know, because they still got Kawhi, so they might still make a run at this playing game. And on top of the fact that they just picked up the Pacers pick, they might have a good chance to still get a good pick in this draft. I don't know if they got their own pick. But yeah, that's basically my thoughts on the whole trade deadline and the buyout market so far. We're gonna be back with another video. Appreciate everybody that came in here to talk NBA and just watch back and let me know how y'all feel. I'll be back. I'll let y'all know. Appreciate y'all. Peace.